Welcome to your stock request for the 10th of May. Hi, I'm Michael Gable, Managing Director of Fairmont Equities. The requests I have for this week include Cleantech, Clover Corporation, Suncorp, Illumina and Sydney Airports. Make sure you send me your request for next week. Just email us and make sure you also share this video on social media. Any advice here is general, so do your own research before investing. Okay, looking at Cleantech CLQ, we can see it's had a nice run up over the last few years. There seems to be an uptrend line here that it's respecting, so that's positive. Also, if we just zoom in a bit here on the weekly chart, it looks like from the peak last year it's come back in 3 waves. Now if we measure the first wave and have a look at how that compares to the third, it's about 1.6 times. Yeah, depending whether we take it off the if we take it off the bodies of the candles or not. I mean, it's very subjective, but generally it looks like it's somewhere within that sort of ABC, where A is about 1.6 times, sorry, where C is about 1.6 times A. It's come back to that trend line, seems to be bouncing here, so we should get a bit of a bounce, I think, in the short term, the next few days or so. Can't get too bullish yet. I think this is a key level that it needs to overlap. So if it can do that, then it's looking a lot better. Clover Corporation, so this is another weekly chart. You'll notice it's gone up in a straight line, more than doubling just in the last several weeks. So in terms of what it does from here, this is where it becomes very difficult to predict, of course. You know, if I show you a daily chart, you know, we can see the huge run up that it's had. So it's hard to chase something like this that's gone up vertically. We'd be looking for some sort of retracement, assuming that it does peak at current levels. I'd be looking at maybe this sort of 90-cent region if it comes back to that level of support. So if we sort of measure the entire move, it also happens to be around that sort of 38% retracement level. So I'd be looking for a retracement. It might take several weeks or more, but if that does happen and if it does come back to this level and bounces, then there's a good trade there, whereas at the moment you're sort of chasing something that's already had a huge run. Suncorp, this is a weekly chart. So we got bearish on this one. We had some really good timing here where we got bearish around here because we could see that it slightly exceeded this previous high, but then suffered some price rejection. So that resulted in a big drop in Suncorp. We did initially have a target probably back towards this previous low at 11. That hasn't played out yet. Price action, I don't think it's too bullish. I think we need to see, you know, probably need to see this high taken out through 1450, and then it starts to look a bit, you know, maybe a bit more interesting on the long side, but it's still a bit unclear if it can kick on, and clearly if it starts failing again around these levels, then yeah, we might expect those lower levels to finally kick in. So we've got Illumina, great trending chart. This is one where we're looking at a trade through about $2. So we could see here, sort of last year, it was building up for a move through to $2, and then when it did that, it had a massive run, which is good. In terms of where it can go from here, if I have a look at a daily chart, it does look a bit vulnerable. So we've got this sort of classic reversal signal here, this massive run up, sort of a evening star formation, and then a drop off. So the shares are now coming back to retest that. So this is sort of a crucial level for alumina. It really needs to push through here, otherwise it could head lower. So the daily chart looks a bit ordinary, but if we have a look at the weekly chart, it still looks okay for beyond the short term. So, nice uptrend, and what I've, you'll notice that, it is still making the higher lows, the higher highs, and recent price action has sort of sat on top of this high from January this year. So looks like it is building up to something, but as I said, the daily chart here just looks a bit vulnerable. So, either wait for another sort of retracement back here, or if it sort of pushes through 290, then there's enough momentum there that I think you can follow it. And finally, Sydney Airport. So weekly chart. Again, we had this sort of retest here. So about a year ago, we had the shares trying to go to a new high, but was sold down, which was a negative. So we have seen them sort of fall away over the last several months. We thought maybe levels back towards $6 would be reached. Hasn't quite got there, but then the last couple of weeks have been pretty bullish. What you'll notice is it's, generally back at a resistance level. So, I'd like to see it push through here. Otherwise, I'd be anticipating a little bit more downside, maybe another dip in the shares. But, that could be a better buying opportunity. But I think if it pushes through resistance here and we start seeing levels like 750, then it's clear it's going higher. And if you want to follow it, then, I think there'll still be some upside. Okay, well, that's it for today. As always, send in your requests and share this video on social media.